Hello everyone, it's been a while. Welcome back to another video. In this video, as you can tell by the title, we're starting with our new C++ course. So this is kind of like an introduction video. I want to start off by saying if this is your first language to learn, I really don't recommend you start off with this language because it's not as beginner friendly as some other languages such as Python, and there are languages that are very similar like to C++, such as Java, but Java is a little more beginner friendly, and you'll know why in the future. But one reason is pointers, garbage collection. That's another reason. So there are other reasons, but um, if you're interested in learning C++, then you've come to the right place, and I hope I can help you with that. So first of all, you're going to want to download an IDE, which is an integrated development environment, and here I'm using Visual Studio Code. If you don't know how to install Visual Studio Code, I recommend you go look at some other YouTube videos, or you can look at the HTML video or course that I uploaded before, and in the beginning it shows you how to install the Visual Studio Code IDE, and I'll leave a link to that in the description. Or you can use another IDE. There are free ones, there are online ones, and there are paid ones. So I'm using Visual Studio Code because this is the best free one for C++, in my opinion at least. So without further ado, let's get started. So first, what you want to start off with is, since we're going to be working with C++, you need a main function, and in the main function, to invoke the main function, you need to type main and then a pair of parentheses and then a pair of curly braces. And the main function, you're going to want it to return an integer. So int main, and then here is where you would put your parameters for the function. And if you don't know what parameters are, we'll talk more about it later, but if you want to enter any parameters, this is where you would put them. And in a function, you can have 0 or more parameters, and then this is where the function starts. This is the name of the function, and this is everything in between these curly braces is a part of this one function, and this function is of type int, which stands for integer. So before we start with anything, we want to include a header file. So a header file is basically, it's just a header file, and it allows you to use input-output functions, and at least that's what this header file that we're going to be using does. So each header file has its own unique job, like each header file helps you use some other things. With this one, it's going to help us with input-output functions. So include IOStream, and this is kind of like, you can call it, if you know Java, you could say this is kind of like libraries in Java. So without this, you can't really use input-output functions. Sorry about that. So moving on, in the main function, you can have, say, a print line statement, a print statement. Sorry, I'm used to Java. So in Java, you would call it a print line statement. In here, you would say std, which doesn't stand for what you think it does. It stands for standard, and then 2 colons, and then cout. Cout stands for character output. So cout, and then 2 of these signs, and then you just, in between quotes, you just type in whatever you want. So I love Corvettes, and then you need to put a colon or a semicolon. Sorry, if you don't put the semicolon, then it's wrong. You'll get an error. In Java and in C++, you need to end almost every statement, or every statement actually, like this one. This is considered a statement. It's a print statement. This is a function, so you don't need to do that. But this is a statement. So with statements, you need to put a semicolon at the end, or else you will get a syntax error. And if you don't know what a syntax error is, syntax basically just means, you could say, like a grammatical error. So it's kind of like not putting a period at the end of your English sentence. There is a grammatical error in that sentence. So here a semicolon is like a period. So moving on, I want to introduce comments. So just like Java, comments are introduced with 2 forward slashes. So just like Java, 2 forward slashes, and then whatever you type after that will be ignored by the compiler. It is strictly for human use. And if you want to use multi-line comments, then again, just like Java, you use a forward slash and then an asterisk and everything in between. Everything in between is a comment. Moving on, since this is a very important thing, and since this main function is of type integer, so it needs to return an integer. So return 0. This basically means that if we go through all of this and we return 0, then there is nothing wrong with the function. If we return 1 or anything else, there's a problem with the function. And I think that's basically it for this first video. I hope you guys learned something new, and in the next video we will be covering a couple more things. But actually, before I finish this video, I want to show you guys one little trick. I didn't even run this code. So first let me run the code. So Control S to save the file first, and then you can run the code from here, or you can run the code from here, or you can just type, press Control Alt N. And basically, I love Corvettes. But the other thing I want to show you is, hold on, let me just do this the lazy way. Copy, paste this, and if you run this code now, let me save, then run it. If I run it now, I just get them next to each other, which I don't want. So you could either fix that by adding a space here, and then there's a space in between them, or if you want a line between them, a line break, you can add a little line break. And how do you do that? You do that with, you just type whatever you want as usual, and then you type these two greater or less than signs, less than signs, and then single quotes \n. And this is kind of like this is similar to Java again. So if you know Java, you will have a very easy time learning C++. But if you don't know Java, then it's okay, you can start with C++, it's okay. As long as you know some kind of programming already, it's a lot easier. But if you don't, you can still start with C++ if you want to challenge yourself. So as you can see, I typed in another little statement, and I added a line break after this one. So after this statement, there will be a line break, and then the next function or next statement or whatever will start at the next line. So here we have the next statement, and it's going to start off at the next line. So Control S to save, run the code, and as you can see, they're on 2 different lines. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.